Hello and welcome to OWELEKE Business Time. I am Chinwendu Osisiogo. Today we'll be discussing on Nigeria's part to economic recovery, agro-revolution to the rescue. Across the world, agriculture is the mainstay of many economies. Apart from ensuring food security for populations, it also provides jobs in huge numbers and accounts for a significant proportion of the GDP of most countries. Investment in agriculture is, therefore, a necessity for any country that wants to make social progress and achieve economic development. We have a guest in the studio who will be educating us on the importance of the agricultural sector to the growth and development of a nation. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. Like I said, we have a guest in the studio who will be discussing with us on the topic Nigeria's part to economic recovery, agro-revolution to the rescue. He is a public affairs analyst and also a journalist. He is Mr. Ahundu. You're welcome to OWELEKE Business Time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
So how can you explain that agriculture is a way to economic recovery?
All right, so let's start first of all to lay a foundation on what's the importance of agriculture, whether to economy or to life generally. As we all know, agriculture is the mainstay of production of food and the sustainability of human life generally. You know, as we all know, there's little or nothing we can do without food. You can live without data on your phone. You can even live without your phone. Well, you can live some few days with just water. But how long can you go as a human being without food, even as an animal without food? So food and food production is the mainstay of human existence first, before we even talk about its benefit to economic development. Now, let's bring it back to economic development so that we stay on the topic. Agriculture is one of the is the new gold, like they would call it. Oil is going down. The things that we had relied on as a nation are beginning to dwindle in quantity and quality. So agriculture is the only thing that is sustainable over time. Before we discovered oil, we're eating. After we discovered oil, we're still eating. When oil dries up under the under the earth, we'll continue to eat. So agriculture is the only thing that we can hold on to for economic growth. So any country that, just like you said, for any country to see the future, they must pay attention, they must invest in agriculture, whether at the rural level or substantial level or the at large scale generally. Agriculture is the only thing that can guarantee that any economy, even big economies, you find food is their mainstay. Cattle is just agriculture sustains any economy because, like we said, natural resources dwindle. Agriculture is the thing. I can go to the farm now and produce yam. I can't go to my farm and produce gold. I can't go to my farm now and produce oil. I have to rely on the earth to give me these things, and the earth to give me in proportions in certain locations. But God has blessed us with soil. So anywhere in my backyard, I can grow tomatoes and sustain my family. In my backyard, I can go an extra to even sell. So agriculture is the only thing I can go and define both in quantity and quality, depends on the amount of land I have. So if government pays attention to agriculture, I think that would be our rescue, just like you said, to economic growth and development.
So how can you compare the agricultural sector and the production with this current administration and the past?
Well, you know, towards the end of the last administration, they said they had created 30 million jobs in the agricultural sector. Now, this government just came it was in the news even this morning that the president is going to present his first appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
Today.
So when we look at it, maybe we'll see how far and where his focus is, especially to the agricultural sector. You know, we've said a lot about human capital development, the youths need to be empowered and all, but a focus is paid on agriculture. If you see that young people, now in the past there was a huge gap between the farmer and the consumer, but now you would see that a lot of young people have delved into that sector. So you find young people traveling to the village to try and bridge that gap, to buy foodstuff, bring to the town, or buy foodstuff. So that gap, that stress that would make the farmer unable to bring his crops, maybe cost of transportation and all that, little by little, the youth have stepped into. So if you go on social media, you see somebody, I sell onions, I sell this, I sell that, because they are trying to bridge that gap. So if they are encouraged, I see that it doesn't matter the administration. Like I said, agriculture spans through time and even administrations.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Quest. Ahundu. Okay, regarding the increment in prices of foodstuffs in the market at the moment, would you say this has affected the agricultural sector negatively or positively?
Well, I would say that's affected negatively, because there's always a boomerang when, like we all know, Nigeria is highly dependent on oil. So once there's a shift or a shake in the oil sector, it boomerangs to every other thing, to clothes, to import and export, to even to water. Everything is affected. So you find that if I was transporting, even as I said that young people have stepped in, a young man who has been able to put his 1,000 naira together and go to the village, before now, that 100,000 naira would bring him maybe 2 bags of onions or 4 bags of onions. Now he would have the 100,000 naira and be able to bring just a bag or a little above a bag of onions to come and sell, which means he has to sell that onions at a price to be able to cut even or at least make a profit. So it will definitely affect a lot of things. But like I said, or like we'd always continue to say, if the government will shift away from oil, our dependence on oil is the reason why if anything happens to oil, it affects every other thing. Or just imagine a situation where if something had affected oil, it only affects maybe import export of oil, it only affects maybe filling station owners, it only affects a few people, transportation sector, but now it has affected a lot of things. So if we diversify, focus on other areas. I'm not saying we should take our eyes away completely from agriculture, but focus on from the oil sector, focus on agriculture, focus on sports, focus on this. That way, we would have a diversified economy, and it will help us grow better than just putting our eggs. So, like we said, let's see how this administration will pan out with appropriation bill that is taken to the House of Assembly today.
All right, thank you so much. A lot of people see farming as a dirty business. Like most youth of these days don't like going into farming. What can you advise someone that intends to probably plant something, probably let's start from the house within ourselves? What can you say about that?
They said if you take a donkey you can take a donkey to the water, but you can't force the donkey to drink water. That was in the olden days. Now, a donkey that is thirsty will walk itself to the river and drink water. So now we don't need to force or not force the donkey. So that goes to say that young people, despite the challenges, are taking the bull by the horn and facing it head on. So young people have a fish pond in their backyard because they have realized that I can make an extra 1,000. I can save, I can buy that shoe, I can buy the new hair for ladies, I can buy the trending thing. So young people are taking the bull by the horn and facing it head on. So, like I said, if government just encourages them, we have the Bank of Agriculture, whose main responsibility is to encourage farming or farm business generally with loans and equipment and all that. So if young people are encouraged, I'm sure that the effect will spill over to the economy generally.
All right, thank you so much. We'll be on a quick break now. Then after the break, we'll continue. Please stay with us.
Follow us on our social media handles at OWELEKETv. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
All right, welcome back from that break. And if you're just joining, this is OWELEKE Business Time. And of course, we'll be discussing on the topic Nigerians' part to economic recovery, agro-revolution to the rescue. My guest has been discussing with us on that. He is a public affairs analyst and also a journalist, Mr. Quest Ahundu. So what can you see that, how can you see that agriculture has actually contributed to the development and to the growth of the society?
Like I would continue to say, agriculture has done a lot. We are a subsistence farming. Initially or in the past, we used to say it was just growing food for the household, but we used to make it sound like it was nothing. But you realize that in recent times, it has become a major contribution, because if I can feed my household, I may not worry so much. Most of the issues we have in the economy is people not able to survive in the barest minimum, which is sometimes just daily, eating once a day or twice a day. Well, it's a lot now to eat three times a day. So, but that area of agriculture that a lot of young people are putting efforts into, to growing, into contributing to both themselves and to the economy. Like I said, that young man who saved 100,000 and went to the village to buy onions is contributing to the transport sector. Is contributing to helping the village, the farmer in the village. The farmer in the village will not lose his crops because he doesn't have the money to take his crops to the city again. So that contribution to the economy, it may look little, but if you compound it, you will realize that that contribution to the economy is doing a lot. It also helps with the fact that if those young people did not have anything to do, courtesy of the agricultural sector, who knows where they would be, who knows what they would do, who knows how negative that they would contribute to the economy, or the impact of the negative impact they will bring into the economy. So for any contribution at all, no matter how small, it's helping the economy. Because most times when we talk about economy, we are looking at the GDP growth and all that. But these little things that ensure that that young lady or that young man is not idle. It's not, they say the idle heart is a devil's workshop. He's not thinking evil because his hands are occupied with his little fish pond, with going to the farm to get this and all. So it's not depressed truly. So it's contributing to, we may not see the general impact on the large scale, but little, I think it's making a lot of impact to the economy.
All right, do you believe that there's still some shaky aspect of this agricultural sector that you feel the government should come in?
Yes, there is.
Like,
now we are gradually, even though I was surprised to see rain in November, but we are gradually going into the dry season, and which is also a major challenge for farmers. So if government can support things like irrigation farming, I come from Benue State, so, and we have a big river. If government can encourage irrigation, how to move water from the river to the farms, so that all year round the clock, those crops that need water to survive, there's a river. But I as a small scale farmer may not have the resources to get a big generator or a big water system to run water from the river to my house. But if there's a system that allows an area, for instance, you say this area is for irrigation farming, this area farms vegetables all year round, this area farms, that way you'll find that scarcity will be eliminated, crops will be available round the year, and then economic activities will keep on going. So government should pay attention to such things as irrigation farming, and then loans. If you go to the bank, I think currently the bank is at 2 digits. What do they call them? Interest rates for loans, even down to even as little as maybe 1 million naira. And what can 1 million naira do if you really want to farm? how many people will you employ if you don't want to go mechanized and all that. So if government can come in and say, okay, if it is agriculture, we're going to make it single digits interest rate, or we're going to make it zero interest rate, for instance. If you're going to produce so amount of food, we have a bank, a food bank, for instance. So we can go into simple contracts. If you produce 100 bags, for instance, give the government 10 bags to keep in its reserve. Go away with your 90 bags. And whatever you sell from that 90 bags, maybe that's your major contribution to the economy. So that should be an incentive to you. So you find a lot of young people delving into agriculture if you find these incentives here and there that would encourage young people to invest in agriculture.
All right, thank you very much. You were talking about the challenges some of these farmers face. You talked about this irrigation.
Yes.
I don't know if you can enlighten us more on the challenges they are facing at the moment.
Now, I'll use Benue State as
an example.
Okay. There are some soils that are very fertile round the clock, but at some times of the year, they are dry. So to dig and plant is a lot. So you have to now wait for the rainy season to come soften the ground before you can plant and get yield. If you have irrigation farming, for instance, where you have water around the year to ensure that those kinds of soils are watered and softened for farming, those soils will continue to produce. We have things like shift cultivation. So you cultivate here this year, you cultivate here this year. But if you have just one farm, that is all you have. You farm on it today, you farm on it tomorrow, so, and then over time, that farm weakens in nutrients and all that. So you also need help with irrigation also. I mean, fertilizers and other, whether natural or mechanized, chemicals, sorry. In that regards also to help in continuous production. The goal is not just to make food available, it's to continuously make food available, because who eats today would eat tomorrow to survive. So food should always be available. So it's to encourage people to always, so you don't want to buy something today and not see it in the market tomorrow because they couldn't farm it. And now something very sad that I heard recently, farmers in Kaduna, in some parts of Kaduna, cannot go to farm because of insecurity. Bandits are saying before they've planted, they've done their bit. With or without government support, they've done what they can do. Now bandits are saying before you harvest, you pay tax to harvest your own crops. You can imagine the dangers of that to both the farmers and the ripple effect to the economy. So if government can step in, and we know these places, farmers are crying, we cannot say we are not aware that this place exists. If farmers are saying we're having this challenge in this place, government can move in and help with those areas to ensure that we don't have this crisis, food crisis, like they will call it, looming around us.
All right, thank you so much. Before we conclude, what can you say about 2024, especially to farmers?
Okay. 2024, well, I'm not a prophet, neither can I see the future.
Okay.
But this is a new administration.
Yeah.
The current president, Ahmed
Bola
Tinubu, had made a lot of promises, and consultations had been on even during the campaigns and afterwards with farmers and farmer bodies, and promises have been made. Now is to ensure that both as farmers, as consumers, as middlemen, generally, we make ourselves available for opportunities as they provide, as they are provided, or as they show up. I know the central bank is making arrangements to anchor borrower. There's an arrangement like the anchor borrower, where an anchor borrower scheme and all that. So let's go into agriculture. Food cannot be dependent on government. We can allow other things for government to do other things, but food, it is also 2023, 2024 and moving forward. Young men, put on your boots. Young ladies, wear your gloves. Let's go to the farm and make food for ourselves and even for our community. And that will ultimately contribute to the GDP of the economy of the nation, and the economy will be better for it.
Well, Mr. Kwesi, the way I'm looking at you, are you sure you can farm?
I'm a farmer. We're not in large scale,
Okay.
but I ensure that at least if I need to kill one chicken, I know
so
where to
you know
look. If
where
I
to
need to
look.
get a fish,
You know where
I
to
have
get
something
it within your
running
compound.
for that.
All right, thank you. So what's your final take?
My final take is young people were doing a lot. Government should come in to help. Now, I don't like always saying government, government, government. With or without the help of government, young people should put in the work and ensure that we sustain ourselves in every way that we can, in any way that we can.
Okay, that means you to put in efforts to
Go to farm. We are not nobody. If you're not too big to eat, you're not too big to farm. And if you're too big to farm, you're not too big to invest in farming. You have brothers and sisters in the village. Well, they'll say they'll eat your money, but well, just try. Send money to the village. Farm yam for me. Send it to me in town. I will sell it. I'll make money. I'll send something to the village. That will even reduce the pressure of urgent 2K, urgent. Now we've moved from 2K to 100K. Now we have urgent 100K. So that would also reduce the burden if we can help people around us with these things.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. As you have said, that we should not rely on the government, that we should try and help ourselves, especially in cultivating our own farm, even at home. You can start from your house,
Yes,
right?
you can, yes.
Yes, you can actually buy chicken.
Yes, one week old chicken, buy 10. Start learning how to keep them. Let 10 of them survive. Buy fish, get a bath. It doesn't need to be a fish pond.
Okay.
Get something, a big bath. You can keep 5, 10 fishes there. Go to your backyard, plant that tomato you bought. When you finish washing it, spill it in the backyard. Watch it grow, cultivate it, and see. There's this joy that comes to going to your backyard and plucking your tomato by the one you planted. There's this joy. So even if you're not selling it, that joy of this is what I planted. I'm eating what I planted. It gives you great joy.
All right, I think I'm going to try it and
please, you should.
Because when it comes to chicken, I'm not a friend.
Oh, okay. So can you kill a chicken?
No, I can't. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Quest Ahundu, for coming on OWELEKE Business Time today. It was good to have you around, and we hope to have you subsequent times.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's the much we can take today on OWELEKE Business Time. My name is Chinwendu Osisiogo. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Oweleketv and our website, Oweleketv. Do have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.